What's up, everybody? It's Julian. Today I'm going to be showing you how BAUGRUPPE90 does their Hardgroove Techno drums. I'm going to be using a template for my Ultimate Hardgrooves 3 sample pack. The link is at the top of the description. It's this pack with a bunch of loops and presets and Ableton files for Hardgroove Techno, as well as drums and effects. Everything you need. Links at the top of the description. Make sure to grab that and let's get started. Alright, so we're at 140 BPM. And to start off, I think the most important part of the drums is actually the kick and bass. So the first thing I want to say is, like, even just mindset is that, you know, if you are going to do techno, like, the bass is really part of that rhythmic, percussive sort of thing, even in Hardgroove where it's a bit more, like, kind of live feeling and stuff. So, you know, when we talk about a drum loop, I'm considering the bass as part of that drum loop, right? So what we're doing here is, yeah, we have our kick, a nice fat 909 kick that's got a nice punch to it at the start. I'm cutting a bit of sub out and converting it to mono, and then the bass line. The bass line actually has a lot of movement going on. Like, if I turn off this filter, you can really hear it. Right, we're just creating like a really busy half note pattern. This is literally like 2 quarter notes, a half note, right? And then it's just all these notes sliding around. If I fold this, you can see, like, they're not even particularly in key, because it's going to create this kind of like deep rumble where you're not really hearing the notes so much, but it's more just about like kind of creating this call and response where you start low and then you jump up high. So then for the sound on this one, it's made using wavetable, and the goal here is just to create a really juicy sound. We have a square wave, and then we have a saw wave an octave up. Then we put a low pass on those. Right, this is where it really becomes that like kind of glidey rumble. And then I have this converting this to monophonic, right? With the glide up. So that's what's doing those glides. If you turn that off, it just becomes. Which could be cool in its own way, but obviously this is better for a bass line. Then we just sidechaining it, cutting a little bit of sub, converting to mono. That's the other thing with the bass line. You're really not going to need to do too much. It's more about just creating a sound that's going to be good. So then we move up to the next level of the drums, which I call the main drums. So yeah, this is just like your main hi-hat, your main clap, and then if you want to have a little hi-hat like this. So with these, I think what you have to do is you have to start and get your kick and bass good. And then you have to create a hi-hat and a clap that fit to that. Right, like in this case, like this hi-hat having a little more tail worked. This clap having a little more tail worked as well. But the only way you can determine that is by trying the samples. There's no way where you can really just like hear it and know. I mean, maybe if you kind of know, but really, I think what's better is instead of like flipping through, let's say you have like a full sample library with like 100 hi-hats, instead of flipping through and trying to choose one before you hear it in your track, instead just drop every single one into your track until you hear one that works. That's what I do with these. And then you get these grooves where it's like these drums really sound like they're made together, you know? Even like this. Just being shorter and stuff worked really well, because it's like you kind of already know where it's going to fit in because you have your kick and bass. So you can see a lot of this isn't even about technique. It's more so about like having the right foundation that'll allow you to build this properly. On this one, you can also see we have a bit of velocity I'm playing with. Then we move down here to the final part of the drums, which is the percussion and kind of like the more sauce layers. And this is where loops are going to come in. And the reason for this is because there's things that you can get with loops that you can't really program. Like, these loops are all like live percussion, like, you know, and then just taking, like in this case, it was this long percussion loop, but then I just took a half note of it and repeated it. So that makes it very like techno. Plus then I'm sidechaining that, and then we're high passing it a little as well. We got this. And that's another thing, like these old house loops and old breakbeats like this is literally just a breakbeat. And I think that's very much what separates the BAUGRUPPE90 sort of style too, is like they use a lot of breakbeats with the hard groove. It isn't just hard groove, hard groove, hard groove, right? So that, and then like I said, like the live percussion, it's things that you just can't really make in the software that you're essentially going to layer in, and then it rounds the whole thing out. Because these on their own are a bit cold. As you see, we bring in these percussion loops, and it really fills the whole thing out and gives it something live and less cold that you couldn't get with programming. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Let me know if you want to see more breakdowns of drums for different artists like this. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this project file and all the samples, plus a whole bunch more in Ultimate Hard Grooves Volume 3. The link's at the top of the description on my website. Thanks for the support, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow with another one.